Unemployment numbers are going down around the county, dropping to 13.3%. Joining us to discuss the latest on the issue is employment attorney Ellis. Good morning.
Good morning, Allie.
So let's talk a little bit about what the EDD is doing. We're looking at those $300 supplements are being processed right now. How is that affecting some of the unemployment numbers, and perhaps, are people being considering staying home? Is that enough to keep them home? What do you think?
It's kind of a mixed bag. I've definitely seen a lot of folks wanting to return to work after the $600 supplement ran out the last week in July. I work with business owners, and suddenly a lot of people were available to work. I think the $300 supplement is helpful, depending on your income level, but there's a lot of nerves out there about how much money we have to fund the $300 supplement. That's all federal money, and right now there's a commitment to provide that for 3 weeks. So the last week in July and the first 2 weeks in August, and that's a total of $900 in payments to individuals that already had pending claims. But beyond that, we just don't know. It's a huge question mark because of these FEMA funds that were set aside. We don't know when they're going to run out.
Yeah, and I would imagine a lot of people are looking at the jobs market and saying, okay, what do I do now?
It's a scary time, and it's a time when I think that folks, I'm recommending, get out there, try to see what's available. There's some industries that are still impacted really hard right now. Obviously, the restaurant, the salon, the gym industries, those are tough, and they're having to reinvent themselves. And in terms of available work, it's not going to look like it was, 6 months ago. If you're a server in a restaurant, you might be doing more to-go orders now than you were 6 months ago, and that might not be the job that, you think you signed up for. But other industries are really starting to ramp up, and of course, there's some industries that have increased in surplus as a result of COVID. And so I encourage everyone to, get out there and get the staffing agencies, see what's available. Job boards are starting to take off quite a bit now, and we're seeing quite a bit of businesses have work available for people who want it.
Now, AB 5, that has hit the gig economy really hard for some of those people who it was the AB 5, coronavirus compounded. AB 2257 opened that up for some of those people. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think that AB 2257, which for me is a lot of syllables, so I'm still calling it AB 5, and so are all of my colleagues. Yeah. It was kind of it was purported to be an expansion of AB 5, and what I think it's important for everyone to remember is the ABC test, which is what AB 5 passed last year for independent contractors, is still the law of the land, and that has not changed here in California. And all this new law did was expand the exception, so now it's a lot more difficult to wade through. So my recommendation is, if you're a gig worker, if you're a contractor, if you're a hiring entity in particular, make sure that you're checking this new law to see if an exception applies to the relationship, and you're consulting with an expert. I would not wade through this new statute on your own, because enforcement mechanisms out there are on high alert, and that comes from anything from state enforcement agencies to tax agencies, to plaintiffs' attorneys, and this is going to be a high-risk area going forward. And I think there's a lot of room for litigation with this new statute because of how it's worded, and the biggest example of that is the joint employer relationship. So now individuals can sue the company that hired their business and purport to kind of say that they've been misclassified, and now there's potentially two businesses that can be sued instead of one. And I have a big concern about that as an employment attorney, that it's going to, have some more judicial backlog.
Yeah, I have no doubt about that. Well, Ellis, thank you so much for the information. Obviously, there's a lot to talk about with that, and we'll continue to have conversations with you. Thank you.
Thank you.